And I believe we are live. So welcome to the stream. Now we are going to talk about multi-material printing, and we also have people in the 3D Meetup Sweden sitting in a couch in a hotel, and we're going to probably have some people drop in the stream in their sofa that under random. So the subject might be a little bit on off throughout the stream. we'll see. But first, I want to do a round of introductions. So starting with Kat.
Hello, everybody. I'm from Liechtenstein, and I have a small little YouTube channel called Cat 3D. And I'm also on Twitter and Facebook. There I'm in several user groups. I like to do a little bit of everything. I've done a 3D printed handbag. I want to make some jewelry, but I'm still waiting for some machines that I need that I don't have. And I'm fond of doing everything, building printers, making testing filament profiles, and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And Paul, over to you.
Thank you. Well, I'm Paul, also known as 3D Printing Stuff on Twitter. Been working on 3D printing since around 2010, and still doing a lot of 3D printing and all things like that.
Yeah, thank you. And Palko.
Hi, I'm Palko. First time on stream here. I'm known Pokon_Netspace on the Twitter, and I do a bit of everything, a bit of 3D printing, modeling, etc. So hi.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm Marteinn, and I have a channel called 3DP Iceland, and can be found on Twitter and everywhere as 3DP Iceland. I do quite a lot of things on my channel, material testing and filament reviews, and paint those landscapes that I print out and paint them with acrylic paints. And lately I've been doing a lot of Star Wars models, like this one here, Boba Fett. I did quite some time ago, and you can see here above me some models. And upgrades on printers and projects. So quite a lot of stuff I do on my channel, but that's me. But to get started with the subject, Katja, you have the palette too, as well as I do. How has the experience been with your palette?
Yeah, I started off with a Bowden-driven 3D printer, which is a console that I built by myself. Built it printing only on one filament. It does a really great job, but due to the Bowden style, I think my first initial experience wasn't that good. I put it aside for a while now, and at the moment I'm testing my Craftbot, and which I received in the meantime, and it's working quite well. And the next step will be, as the filament settings are now spot on, the next step will be to try the palette again. In the meantime, new firmware has come out, and so I hope that I will be successful this time.
Yeah, in my case, I've been really lucky with my palette, because quite some number of people have been talking about issues with their palettes or the user experience not being very good. But I've had actually quite good user experience on mine. But Paul and Palko, have you done any multi-material printing?
I've only done a bit of PVA with PLA on the Ultimaker tree, so that's a bit different. It just it's just for the support material, so it's not really multi-material, but you are still using a different material for support, so that actually works great. But that's just on the Ultimaker tree, so you have there that's made just specific for that. So
but you have also the palette, right?
Yeah, I have the palette plus, but I never really did print different materials, only different colors of the same material. So that's a bit, it's not, it's different material really.
Yeah, I think in most cases it's multicolor rather than multimaterial.
Yeah.
in most people's use cases, because yeah, I've tried with PVA supports as well on my palette, and it was working quite well through the palette, but the problem with the PVA support, it was quite stringy, so I got some PVA
Yeah.
strings throughout the model, so when the travel moves were moving over the PLA part, I got PVA injected into the model, so to speak. And when I was
I have the same with the Ultimaker tree. Yeah,
yeah, so when I was cleaning it
it's-
out, the model had all those tiny holes all over it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have the same with the Ultimaker tree, and I expected it was more working out of the box, especially for a machine like the Ultimaker tree. But since the beginning, I had small holes on things like that, and a lot of stringing with the PVA, and just not that great experience.
yeah.
Which PVA did you use from which company?
Just from Ultimaker itself. So basically, they are still making their own filament. So they make the machine, the filament, and the PVA support. So you expect that it be properly
Yeah.
tested.
Hmm.
Yeah, mine was from E3D Spoolworks. This one,
Okay.
and it printed without any problems,
Yeah.
and the splices for the PLA were quite okay, and just the stringing left the models with they were like,
I really wonder if that's part of PVA or something like that or something else.
I think PVA is more for like two nozzles instead of
Yeah,
a pellet type thing.
well, the Ultimaker actually is two nozzles.
Seriously?
Yeah, so it has two separate nozzles that one moves around and or moves up when the other one is printing.
So I have a PVA material from Polymaker. I didn't test it yet. You know, the craft pot that I have is also a dual material setup in
Yeah.
the Isaac system. So I printed this little cube here, which came out really nice. And I recently also printed Murphy the cat from Luby. She asked me to pre-print it prior to release. I did so, but I would have to get up and bring it all over here because I would really love to. So yeah, just to show you, little
Yeah,
moment,
sure,
please.
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Little moment, please.
Yeah, I think that maybe if you have, I didn't do any like retraction setting changes to the material profile. So
Yeah, I
so-
think that might help a lot, but I
but-
also I'm not fully sure still if the Pellet 2 is really the right machine to use PVA supports, but that's
yeah, I think the palette did a good job in this, because the slices on the filament were okay. It was just the stringiness of the print. So there was like a setting on how to slice PLA to PVA, and you select in the palette software or slicer the materials. So the slicers were pretty good.
Sorry, we every time we see Joe or someone else walking by, we're like, hey, and they are like, nope.
that's
Yeah, okay. They don't want to jump in.
Yeah,
It's a pity. It's a pity. Yeah. So
they
you
didn't
see
see
here,
us.
here's
Oh,
the
that's a
cat,
really nice cat.
and it is also multi-material. You know, the head was printed extra. Here, the you know, the neck part, the tie, and then the base, and the book. The book was also three parts, and normally it has magnets in here, so it's like a hidden cabinet underneath.
yeah.
It's quite
That's
nice.
cool.
And this was a dual color here, and also the eyes. Yeah, so there that worked nicely, and this was the small test I did. I also got it from her. She's such a lovely person. You know, I met Luby at Murph the first time. Yeah, and also here on the book, the binding here, you know, the side is also silver, so it's also dual extrusion. And really, on the craft bot, it really works very, very nicely.
Yeah, so
dual
each
color.
part of that print is only two colors, and then you assemble it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but by assembling it, you have all these different colors, you know.
Yeah,
And the whiskers, you know, she did it so nicely that the model, you know, here in the area where the whiskers are, it really has a hole where you can thread the nylon through to make these whiskers that the cat has.
yeah. Looks
That's
really
really
good.
good.
Yeah, it's so if you want to impress your beloved ones, you should really give it a try. It's so cool.
She really hates my printer, so no.
Yeah, and the Ultimaker that has like two nozzles that you can switch over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, one lifts up if you are not printing with it. So it just changes which one you are using, and then the other one is lifted up or lifted down.
It's lifting. It's lifting up. That's
Yeah.
cool.
it rotates around a pivot or something, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually a really simple system, but pretty effective.
Oh.
But you still need to calibrate it really well. If the calibration is off between those two nozzles, then it's not going to work at all.
And do you have like a small purse block or no, like a not a purse block, but just clean off the filament at when it moves?
Yeah, you can print with it a small perch tower or something like that, but it's not actually required. But it is suggested because there is still a bit of oozing, so in most cases you kind of need it.
Yeah, just to get rid of the oozing, so you don't get blobs on the model itself. Yeah. But you don't have to purge like with a color. Like I was printing one print with very saturated colors, and I had to had the purge block quite big because the color was very saturated blue and then a white.
Yeah.
And it was quite a big.
Yeah, you don't have
block.
really a purge block.
And it's difficult to predict because you start it out and see how it goes, and then you see some bleeding, and then you cancel it, and then you start again, and you waste a lot of time and material on finding out if you need to have a bigger purse tower.
Yeah, you know the test that I did with the palette, I still have all the filament in the back on the ground that I wasted. Yeah, the purging is quite an issue, huh? To get the settings right with the filament bleeding.
Yeah, well, it takes a little time, but if you have once you did it, it's pretty okay for most filaments.
Yeah, and Matt in the chat, how I do it, saying he got his palette to work finally on a Bowden printer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I'm not following the.
yeah,
Okay. Hi.
Some people have been suggesting that it was more difficult to get it to work on a Bowden setup. I have mine on my Prusa MK 2.5 printer here, and so I don't have any Bowden printers.
Yeah, so I think Direct Drive is the way to go for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I tried my Palette Plus once on the CR10, and that didn't work out great at all.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the Palette Plus. That's like the white, like metal.
Yeah, the
box.
white box. The previous version is that.
Yeah.
And it still works okay for just multicolor.
Yeah.
I won't use it for multi-material.
Yeah. I was playing around with trying to use nylon and PLA, and I actually could make a small test print. It did slices together, but it printed, but the nylon didn't stick at all to the print. So I could do like it was like just a scientific test to do it, but it was not like a functional. You have to if you print with materials that don't stick very well together, you really have to model in the parts so they will mechanically lock together.
Okay.
And I was playing around with just a small piece, designing in Fusion 360 a small piece to create this mechanical lock between PLA and nylon, just to show off. But it was giving me quite much trouble because the slices were very easy to pull apart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And took
Yeah.
maybe 2 or 3 times to print a small test piece.
What I would like to love to see is PLA together with flexible filaments. That would have really nice use cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I think about too. Yeah, that would be really a nice thing to use it for.
Yeah, I really hate removing support. So having dual setup for PVA
Oh
is
yeah.
like a dream
Yeah.
for me. It's
That's
like a small layer of
And-
PVA and the rest PLA. It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
wow.
That's PVA is really expensive regarding that. So
Yeah.
you just need to have the interface layer. And
Yeah. I like in the print where I used PVA, I just used it as an interface layer, just to save
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
material. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Mart is also saying polyalchemy works as well, and the silky filaments because they don't stick very well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I tried that as well, and it's pretty easy to remove polyalchemy PLA from other PLAs.
So Martin,
Okay.
which filament has given you the best results regarding specs? You know, the diameter and
Yeah,
properties.
yeah, because the palette is sensitive to bad filament, and so I've mostly been using filamentum or Prusament filaments on my palette. And
What I did in most cases was try to use filaments from the same manufacturing. So the chance that they are basically the same is much higher as when mixing the manufacturers.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But I also ran quite a lot of protopasta through, and that has been consistent without any issues for me. But
Okay.
what it's if you have like an old filament that is brittle, that you will get into problem with that because the filament path is quite steep throughout the device.
Yeah, especially the pellet 2, I think.
Yeah, and I had some older filament that was quite brittle to start with, and I tried to run that through, and it was never working for me. So good filament, and also like I had a filament that was not very consistent in diameter, and it was going up to 1.8 millimeters, and that
Mm.
jammed in the
that's not
slice
going to
core.
work right.
Yeah, so you have to have consistently good filament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just about to order filament to give it a try, and yeah,
Which one are you gonna order?
yeah, I think filamentum maybe.
Have you tried us filament? Because that's really nice, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I have some, but I didn't think about it. I don't have 4 rows of it. I have 2. So
Okay.
I've tried filamentive, but that was on the Bowden, you know. So
Okay.
I don't know if it was the filament or the Bowden or both together. I don't know. They gave me a hard time.
Yeah, and also like if your printer is not in a good shape, you have clogs or some issues with the printer, then that's not going to help because you get errors and you have to start again, and then you waste a lot of filament.
And prints will take a very long time.
Yeah, so it doesn't make your life easier if the printer is giving you trouble as well.
Which printer isn't gonna give you trouble? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the problem is even if every printer has troubles, because the prints take that long of a time, it's the time it feels it's really much harder to resolve it.
And that's why we need multiple printers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we are all nerds, so we should be able to manage, huh?
Nah.
Yeah, like for when you're doing some multi-material, it takes maybe 8 hours to do a relatively small print. So, so you
Yeah.
you don't want to have a power issue or a clock issue or
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatnot.
The only multi-material experience that I have is like hand swapping filaments
Oh,
and
Yeah.
in a hurry.
okay.
Yeah.
With the MK3, it's like pulse and just swap it. But with other
Yeah.
printers, it's like scrap, and yeah, just running around with filament in your hands, hoping that it doesn't fail.
Yeah, yeah. People have done really cool prints though with just filament swapping. If you
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
if you
absolutely.
plan it
Or
out,
just layering it.
yeah, um, yeah. So it's not like a horrible method to have to just swap out the filament, but you have to plan it out a little bit.
Yeah, true. But like the slicer from Prusa, the Slick Tree or the Prusa control has like a button to uh, change filament so it passes.
Yeah,
yeah.
and before it was built in, they actually had a separate application for doing that.
They have a website for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's really
That's
easy
pretty
in
awesome.
a slicer. Just
Yeah, it's
Just
just a
cut-
simple G code.
just cut it up or
So at Merv, I saw the Chameleon multi-material system. I'm really interested in trying that out.
Yeah.
Seems to
When
be
is it
quite a simple setup.
when is it gonna be released? Because I keep seeing posts on Twitter and stuff, but they aren't really releasing. Hey Daniel.
hi.
Is Daniel in the lobby somewhere?
I don't know. He is at least in the chat,
I-
but
Yeah, he's in the
can't
chat.
see him,
He's
but-
in the chat. He should show up. My God, it
Daniel, come
cannot
to the
be.
lobby. Come on.
Hey, it cannot be true that nobody wants to join in at least for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Just sit on the sofa for 2 minutes and say hello. That should be possible.
we
I'm
have
gonna give a
Stroke
shout
over
out.
here.
Hey guys, the guys. So if somebody's in the chat watching here, get your butt on the sofa and give us a small little chat here. Cannot be true.
Okay, I can't stop laughing. Sorry.
Hey, Daniel's coming. He says he's
Yeah,
coming.
cool. Yeah,
Where is he?
Okay, cool. I don't know, but we're gonna scream at him if he's coming.
He will
so-
probably show up in a minute.
yeah.
that would be
He know
cool.
where we are sitting ish. I
He,
think.
he needed to prepare a presentation for tomorrow. So,
Hey, the cool location in that lobby is on the sofa and nowhere else.
yeah.
We were sitting that this afternoon. Yeah, we were drinking beer this afternoon there.
That's
Yeah,
at the same place we were sitting last year. In that corner.
it's
I
exactly
know.
the same as last year. It's
okay.
pretty nice.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Matt is asking the hardest multi-material print you have attempted. I think in my case was my maker coin because I was trying to get the small letters in a different color, and I didn't model them into the model itself. They were just on the side of the coin, and very small, fine detail. So multi-material printing with very fine particles of different colors. That's a difficult one because I had like so many color changes throughout that maker coin. I really had to
Yeah.
make a new design on the maker coin to make it more simple.
So do you have this? Do you have
the-
the spine to show off that you made?
No, I no, I I think it does work. No, it's here. It's here.
Show it.
Yeah, show it.
I
As we're
brought it
talking
to.
about multiple material, you have to show off something.
Yeah,
So that's so awesome.
yeah. This is a spine.
This is really
This is
cool.
like 2-part print here in the middle, but I used polyalchemy as a
Oh, wow.
as support.
That is pretty cool.
Nice.
This is filamentum gold happens and filamentum Icelandic blue, and I used polyalchemy in the supports because there was a lot of supports in the spinal cavity or tunnel or what's it called,
Yeah.
It came out pretty
Wow.
nice.
That is so awesome.
Now I'm ashamed what I'm going to say about my material printer.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
It was a Deadpool bust, but I only have like 2 meters of spools left and like 20 different colors. And I was like, oh, the filament sensor says I'm out of filament, so another color. So I'm keeping on changing my filament every hour or so, and it really looks ridiculous.
yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
good fun with a palette. You can set it to random mode, so or pattern. So
Yeah.
if you have multiple colors, you can have the palette ingest them in a random fashion, and doing
Yeah.
like a vase mode print or
I used it for a few Ultra Benchy parts, and they came out great.
yeah.
That's
they came out awesome, man. Really colorful.
Yeah, gonna. I don't think I gave them all away at Murph. Yeah,
and
yeah, I don't have them.
the-
I did my Mr. Belly in in two color. It was Hi-Fi Blue Protopasta
oh yeah.
and some I can't remember filamentum gold tappens, I think. It
Oh,
was
that's a really nice filament.
That's
yeah.
my hardest print or multimedia color print was actually the Nintendo logo from made by Apparel Design. It's a really nice model, but my palette had a lot of problems, and that caused a lot of trouble with this.
Yeah, okay.
So we're having 24 viewers, and
Yeah.
I would be interested in knowing who those are. I see some of them.
I have seen like one or two from Nerd Space, if I'm right.
Yeah, some of them
I
are.
know that Bastian is viewing.
Some of them are writing something here, but not so many. So it would be really cool if the rest of those. Okay. I think
Told you.
Sicilian is, I think, from Nerdspace. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
You can call him Buzz.
Yeah, Stephanie Light, Sweet, Tony Ryan,
cool. Now they're
3D
showing
Medic
up.
Wins. Yeah, now they're all chatting. And
But
Mike.
that's cool. You know, it should be more interactive. You know, the whole thing. Just say,
Yeah.
I even have some stroop waffles here. You know, guys. Some
We
beers.
have a lot of him here as well.
We're having some fun time here with stroop waffles and beer. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
we have like 30 kilos here in Sweden.
Wow.
Yeah, are they not available in Sweden, like in the store?
I have now. Well, they are now, but
yeah.
Cool.
I have to check.
Not that we know of. It's
check
a
this.
Dutch treat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have to check.
And I use it as bribing material. So
Yeah, okay.
that works.
So you exchange them for filament.
yeah, something like that. What did he try earlier tonight? I can't remember. We tried to bribe someone with Strupa.
Oh yeah, I tried a bar person because I screwed up my room number and they charged someone else for my beers.
yeah, yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah, but I'm sometimes an honest man, so I felt guilty.
Yeah.
So yeah, are there any other questions in the chat, like Katja asked? Because we are, yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. Who has some experience with multi-material here in the chat? What system are you using? Are you using filament swapping, or do you have dual extrusion or pellets? Or,
MMU.
yeah.
Yeah, or the MMU.
Yeah, or I forgot that one. Excuse me. Oh.
Yeah.
I would love that MMU for my MK3. To be honest, I have no idea what to use it for, but I really want it.
Yeah, yeah, and now they have released the code for it in Marlin, so you can use the MMU for any Marlin-based printers if you update it. So
that's nice.
It's
so
not only
you can throw the MMU on other printer.
Yeah,
Seriously?
Oh.
as long as if you can update the printer with the latest Marlin,
Mm.
and
So you
then
need to be able to flash Marlin.
yeah. So if it's a closed source printer, then
So-
it's difficult.
Mm.
Basically, you could run an MMU on a CR10, for example.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Huh. That's pretty interesting, to be honest.
I think the implementation is much better as the very first MMU. Because that's just for the MK2.
Idea was fun.
Yeah. But
Uh,
it didn't work out
yeah,
great.
no, not really.
Yeah, and 3D Matic Vince is saying he's just doing color swaps, and like we said before, you can do quite nice things doing that method. And Stefan in the Lightspeed is saying there are not enough models to print. Actually,
That is true.
That's still a problem, I think. Yeah.
yeah, it's not many people that model
Yeah.
for multi-material, but if you find a model that, like, let's say just a character or a head of a character, you can open it up in Mesh Mixer and cut out
Yeah.
the parts and create a multi-part model.
Mm.
It's quite a hustle to do it afterwards. It's better to model it in straight away. But yeah, it's not very big library of multi-material
Yeah.
like trinkets and such.
And I also think we need something else as having separate STLs for just multi-material. We need to have a format that supports all or the different parts within one file type.
Yeah, I think it like at least in Slicer Prusa Edition, it detects if the model is a multi-part when you
Yeah.
open up. So if you open up 10 STLs and they're part of a single model, it will detect it.
Yeah.
And I think in other
I think
slicers,
Kura does the same thing, but not fully sure.
yeah, there's a process. You open it up and you say this is a multi-material or multi-part, and then it will arrange itself. And I think Simplify 3D has a similar function. So it's not like a very complex procedure, but it would be nice to have like a multi-part model.
Yeah, I never tried Simplify 3D for multi-material.
Yeah, I haven't either. But
Yeah, I've tried. Yeah, up to now I've been making using Simplify 3D on the CraftBot, and it's not that complicated.
yeah,
You just import the models, and then you have to align them together, and then you choose which part should be using which extruder. So it's okay.
Yeah.
How is with the ITEX system? You don't have the purse block. You just print with each color.
You know, there are two wipers on both sides, so you can pre-purge there.
Yeah.
Or you can have a purging block, or you can have this ooze shield, which I've never tried. All of them work well.
I think the ooze shield is a really nice feature in general.
Yeah, so it's just the same idea as the Ultimaker with the different nozzles. It just has to get rid of the small purse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also protects the model from other, stringing and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have the settings spot on, because if you pre-purge too much, you will have a blob on the outside the model. So that's kind of tricky. But yeah.
Yeah, but Tony is asking about the palette software, the Chroma slicer. That's the online software, and I tried it a little bit when I got my palette. At that stage, it was a beta. I'm not sure if it's still a beta, but it was very randomly broken for most parts.
Yeah, I never tried their online version. I think it was Chroma called as well, but just the desktop application, and it wasn't great either. It got a lot of memory errors and things like that.
Yeah, the desktop version is Chroma, and the other one is what's the online version then? What's that called?
Oh, I don't remember. What are you using now, Martin? What workflow are you using?
Yeah, I'm using Slicer Prusa Edition to slice the models, and then I open the G code in Chroma, and that creates a purse block. Then I save it out.
I think that with the palette and the palette 2, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I know there's a plugin for slicers. I was asking the palette guys if they were gonna work with Prusa to integrate the process just straight into Slick3R Prusa Edition, and they sent me back. It was not on their to-do list, but there was some guys that made a plugin to Slicer that can create the purse block, and so you don't have to use Chroma. So you can use Slicer with that plugin.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
But does Chroma just use or add the purge block, or does it more? Because I think it's not. It's more than that.
Yeah, the Chroma software creates the final G code. So the G code that's sent out to the palette and creates a purse block and controls the slicing settings and all that. You set the slicing profiles, the splice profiles, how much heat and pressure you use and all that. You set that in Chroma, and then you save that out, and I use an Octoprint with a plugin to print.
Okay. Haas has a really interesting question, to be honest. Instead of like using the MMU for changing colors, for using it when your spool ends.
The palette supports this multi-spool mode when you can.
Only the palette 2 actually. The palette plus doesn't. Yeah, the palette plus doesn't have a filament runout sensor, so you can't use it for end of spool things.
Yeah. So you can do it with the palette 2, but not with the older ones or the MMUs or the Prusas. And the program I was thinking about, the online slicer, is the Canvas.
I've tried all of them, but I didn't have any success.
Yeah, and it was too buggy for me to use, and I haven't looked at it since then.
I tried it when it came out, and after that, at that moment it was really buggy. After that, I just stayed with Chroma.
I don't know what there was one version, to use it that gave me an absolute over extrusion. That was really horrible. It looked so ugly. Was it Chroma or Canvas? I don't remember.
I think horrible. Canvas.
Yeah,
I think Canvas.
It has had so many problems, and it sometimes created a purse block outside of the build volume.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes the purse block was injected into the model, and you had to manually move it, and then it was just crashing the website, and it was just.
I also didn't like that it was just a website and just hosted. I prefer having my own software running on my own hardware.
Yeah, me too.
So where is Daniel?
I have no idea.
He didn't show up yet.
Oh, he didn't show up.
I think he got lost with the E3D crew or a Joe or something.
They are probably sitting somewhere. I can't see them actually, so I have no idea where they are.
They are hiding for the live stream.
Why don't you take your camera and go over to them? Is it possible? Or
you haven't attached? Seen the photo I posted?
Are you just attached to the?
It's quite a setup.
Electric plug somewhere.
Yeah.
You cannot move around.
Yeah.
If they don't want to come to you, you should go to them and photobomb them.
Yeah. That's not going to work out.
Sorry, there's like too many wires plugged in everywhere, and I think the people at the hotel would be probably pissed.
I think George just said he is here, but not sure where.
Which? From MVO.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he should show up. He was in the last stream. He's such a nice guy.
I see
Daniel.
I see Daniel.
Oh, try to catch him.
Yeah, he's nodding like, yeah, I'm coming when the live stream.
Yeah, his beer is nearly empty, I think.
Daniel. And he's also deaf.
I will
Yeah.
give him.
That's-
I will give him out a beer.
Yeah.
If you give me your PayPal, I will give him a beer. Free beer.
I can also throw like 2 kilos of stroopwafels to
Oh,
his head. I
okay.
have
That's-
with me. So
he's also talking with someone. So
yeah, I
Yeah.
recognize the other guy, but I don't know where.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tony Ryan was saying the MMU2, the new one, has a continuous spool mode that will detect the run out of the first spool and cycle to the next
that-
one.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But how fast are you going through a spool? Because if I print like a kilo worth of filament, it's just one giant blob. So how are like 4 kilos of filament in one print?
Yeah.
That's
I use
That's a lot.
the multi-spool modes
Yeah.
when I
Oh,
have
yeah.
those when I have those left, like few.
Yeah,
few
I had like 14 of those kind of spools, but with like
Oh my
4 or
God.
5 meters left.
yeah,
And
Like,
I just like every time I switch my filament with a filament runout sensor. So now I have a really weird print, but it's fun. So yeah. Now on the quartz spool, still 10 hours left. A quartz spool is pretty much, to be honest.
so I would like MM2 for a printer just to do spool swap. Yeah.
Yeah, you can now with the latest Marlin use the MMU on whatever Marlin printer that you can update, so it's not bound to Prusa anymore.
That is pretty nice.
but that's the MMU1 or the MMU2.
MMU2, because the MMU1 is like a specific hardware that with you have
Yeah,
the 4
but-
inputs into one.
But if you have the hardware, it should work, I guess.
Yeah, then you have like a direct drive ish from Prusa on your
Yeah,
CR machine. It's a total match then. Whoa, 1.2 kilo.
Oh, that
Yeah, iron chair.
that will put a lot of weight on your head if you're
Yeah.
wearing it.
Yeah,
That's wow.
yeah.
Props to that, seriously.
Yeah, if it's a single piece print,
that's crazy.
yeah, you can buy those 2.5 kilo spools as well. So
Yeah,
I still want like one of those big ass spools from 2.5 kilos on a very small 10 by 10 by 10 printer, just for the fun of it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you can print one of those big benches in multiple parts.
yeah.
724.
I wonder how heavy Ultra Bench is going to be.
Bastian, are you still watching? Can you weigh that piece, please? Maybe.
yeah. Are you doing like a community build at the?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, that
it's
would be cool.
almost done. We are missing 10-ish pieces, but I'm gonna chuck them on the printer when I'm at home.
Yeah,
Um,
I would
that-
I would love to print them, but I'm waiting for something else that I have to print. And
Oh,
then there's still the issue that I have to send it again.
Okay, Bastian, can you give me an estimate? You
Yeah,
don't have to weigh all 300 parts.
yeah.
Just
Do,
for the boxes.
wait all 300 and let us know.
And if you're gonna weigh all 300, there's beer in the cabinet. You know where.
And maybe you get a stroke raffle.
He is
I think
already
he-
getting beer. So yeah, that's a community print.
Yeah, we should have another one.
Wait. We have a visitor.
Oh, really?
Yes, we do.
Woo!
It's not Daniel.
No.
We
Um,
did-
Where am I looking?
That's
Yeah.
the camera.
Okay.
Wow.
And-
We have a headset over there and a microphone, and I
Who is
seriously,
I cannot
And-
see it.
nobody can see us, so that's fun. It's George, right?
Hi.
Yeah, George from MPO.
Hi, George.
Yeah, hi.
How
Hi,
are you
Kat.
doing?
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for dropping in.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for saying that I'm a nice guy.
Yeah,
I
so-
caught that as I was coming down.
So it's the first time for you to be at the meetup in Sweden?
That is correct. Yes, flew into Copenhagen in the morning, and it's. I got a rental car actually. Went all over
Mhm.
from the bridge. I didn't manage to catch the guys because they came in a bit later. Otherwise, I would have given them a lift in.
Yeah, we had a bit of a delay at the airport, and
About an hour or so.
No,
Yeah.
I arrived at 7 o'clock in the morning, so
Jesus.
I actually managed to come to the hotel and check in, and then crash before going to the venue.
I actually needed to get up my get my passport at work because I left it yesterday or last week.
Ooh.
So I wasn't able to find my passport yesterday evening. So
Oh my God.
I was really, So I needed to. I knew I had it at work a few days ago. So
Guys, you should see some of the test prints that the Mosaic people sent me. They are out of this world. I mean, honestly, the swaps they've done on those prints are exceptional. I don't know what printer they used, but the cleanliness of the transition between colors is something I've never seen something like that.
okay, well,
Also between white and black or heavy
You'll
colors?
see them. You'll see them tomorrow. You'll take some photographs and share them.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, I literally spent just speaking with Joe Katja, 3D Maker Noob,
Yeah.
and Gina from Octopi
Mhm.
and Scott from Marlin. We spent all the afternoon just chatting effectively on things, and
that's
it's lovely.
It would be really cool if they would have like a course, like a hands-on hangout course, just like we are doing now, for people to drop in, so they can get some tips and tricks, how to work better with
There's
the,
something-
with
yeah.
the system. That would be cool.
The
They have done
yes, I think there's something.
They have
with
done
the
several live streams like that.
Yeah.
yeah. The Mosaic guys did a few of them. I think just after it was released, to show the internals and things like that, and afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just thinking if it's for Gina and for Scott. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'll ask the question.
Yes.
But we did say that we wanted to do something potentially like good practices, maybe for Fusion 360, or maybe even some organic CAD, the flexible modeling, and see whether we can come up with maybe a small curriculum with Joe, because things like how do you make something parametric, how do you ensure that your design follows through, and if you change something at the end of the design, it doesn't screw up the beginning of it, stuff like that.
Mm.
So
How expensive is your
yeah,
beer?
we don't want to know. We just put it on the hotel room, and we will find out one day.
If you drink enough, you don't know how.
Yeah.
So mine is cheap here because it's at
Yeah.
home. It's not at the
I'm pretty
hotel.
sure mine is much more expensive.
But I'm out
I'm
of
crying with
stroopwafels.
every beer I'm having.
I'm out of stroopwafels, so
I
I'm a
was
poor
I was
lady.
telling Pokon here that they were playing fantastic music. He came over with his Sabaton T-shirt and his patches on his back, and if he had come to the venue, they were playing all the good old metal from Dio
Really?
down to
Oh.
Manowar down to
Oh my
I'm
god.
so
Brilliant.
freaking jealous.
Hey, we also have a weight of Ultra Benchy here. It's
Yeah.
7 kilos.
We have
7 kilos.
a community project
Oh, brilliant!
from all small benchy parts
Yeah.
that make a big benchy.
So you're gonna build it here, right?
No,
No.
next year.
Next
Next year
year.
I'm gonna bring
Okay.
it over with my car.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not gonna fly anymore. Fuck that.
Children might be
that.
watching. Huh?
Yeah.
Demonetized, sorry. I screwed up. Sorry.
So who have we got on the chat?
It's
How many are we? Because I detached the window. Do you have a window open?
We've opened it on the top chat. So if you change that, is that
We
real
should do
time?
something around
yeah, this is the real time
20
chat.
to 25. I think something.
Hey, cool.
That's pretty much people.
Yeah.
So okay, let's see a show of yeses on the chat to see how many people are actually going to be there tomorrow.
I don't think no one, to be honest.
Come on.
Except for us.
Well, Daniel, if he is still,
I'm
he's
so
sitting
jealous.
there.
I would love to be
he was,
there.
He was
you
reading
know?
the chat, but
I would love to
don't
be
worry.
at the meetup. I was there last year. It was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Next year we all have to come together there.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Bastiaan, wie er allemaal komen. Oh, sorry, I'm going to Dutch. Who are coming to the Meetup Sweden. So
Yeah, Mike is saying he can't make it from Canada.
Okay.
It should still be possible, I guess.
if you get an overnight flight,
Yeah.
you can be here like 1 hour too late.
Yeah, something like that.
See, there's still time.
Oh. Yeah, Daniel is here. I mean,
I'm seeing him right now.
He is sitting at the
Oh,
board.
he's coming. He says he's coming. No.
Yeah,
That's-
there are
no,
21
Yeah,
people.
too lazy.
watching.
Once they got stuck with the guys at the bar, then they lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Maybe if he throws Tropaf or something to his head, he's gonna... But yeah. So what's the plan for tomorrow? I'm gonna.
So tomorrow they're going to open at 9 o'clock. Okay. There's going to be various things going on. I mean, the schedule is on the website. So there's going to be like various talks. Gino's going to give a talk. Scott's going to give a talk.
Daniel is doing something as well with the talk.
Well, everybody and their dog are going to be giving talks. So if you're not exhibiting, there's no excuse for not listening to at least 2 or 3 of those talks. So there's a lot of knowledge there.
And last year they were really great.
Oh, I imagine. I mean, I'm jealous of the guys that were able to go and see them. I'm going to be behind the booth all the time, or the desk.
I can help you out if you want to go walk around.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, you promised that you're going to finish the acrylic rep box. I've already gotten 4 signatures on the side panels for the giveaway that we're doing. They're very cool. I mean, we'll show photographs tomorrow, and you'll see them in real life. I think we can get a few more signatures on there, a few more autographs.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And,
All the famous 3D printing people.
It's so cool that you
that's
brought
the
the wrap box to Europe.
So I've had some feedback regarding the prices that we've put up, that it's slightly high.
Yeah, but there's also like import cost and duties and weight and shipping and stuff.
The thing is, once you bring something across, I mean, I try to make sure that whatever I'm selling is equivalent to buying it from the source.
Yeah.
So if you were to go to the shop and say, okay, I want to buy a box, it's a heavy piece of kit, right? And there's a lot of parts in there. So, okay, the box itself, $100, but then it takes another $100 to get it to the UK, and then I need to store it, and I need to do all that distribution for it. So it's
we got a 3D maker. Yeah.
Who's coming? You have another pair of headphones.
We have in total
we actually
4
have
headphones. And
Power
stuff,
ones.
so,
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Hey, that is cool.
There's another microphone there.
So you're not gonna.
I'm gonna shove over so Joe can.
Are you not gonna fit in the camera altogether?
No, that's the only problem.
You have to swap it over a little bit.
Yeah,
Hi, Joe. Hi. How are you doing?
How's everyone doing?
How is it so far? You like it?
Yes. I mean, there's not much happening today except alcohol and food. But
Yeah.
good so far.
Yeah. My Stroopop was already finished, so I'm poor girl here. Still got a little bit of a beer, but yeah. I would love to be with you.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, I'm jealous.
Are these numbered or something? Like
I have
100?
no idea. I have like 24 kilos with me, so
Oh my
have fun.
god.
Yeah, so
Martin, thanks for posting the link there, mate.
Yeah. I just posted the link to the 3D Meetup. The website is really organized, and you can see the venue layout and the calendar or so.
You can see all the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Gonna be
Joe,
an awesome
the
event.
time zone is a little bit easier for you now to go to 3D Meetup Sweden than Murph.
Same zone.
That's
I can sleep at normal hours.
Oh, yeah.
No jet
Yeah.
lag.
Yeah, it was pretty tough for me as well, having the time zone change.
Yeah, it took me about a week to get over it. I was so sleepless. I was like really crazy.
Yeah, and you're just
So
about.
today's topic, sorry, Martin. Today's topic was the multi-materials, right? So do we have people in the chat that own multi-materials? Sorry, I missed the beginning of our chat.
Yeah, we
there
have
were a
some
few people.
few people in the chat that have said they have what they have. They have the MMU or the pallets. And,
There's been a gentleman on YouTube recently that's done like an external buffer for it. Have you seen that? Has anybody seen that? But he's printing at 200 millimeters a second,
Oh wow!
and he's basically
God.
maxing out the buffer of the pallet, the internal buffer. So he's had to create an external buffer. It was quite interesting.
Okay. See, in my case, I did max out the buffer, but that was printing with a 0.8 millimeter nozzle.
All right.
Race Proto,
Oh wow. Okay.
like
But that
0.6 millimeter layer height.
Yeah.
but that's just random colors, isn't that?
Exactly, and that was
Yeah,
just
because if you really want to have a color change spot on, you can forget about that, can you?
Yeah.
Hey, did you see the prints that Mosaic? Yeah, you were there.
Yes, you showed me. Absolutely insane. Absolutely.
They've got little dory fish that has been that is why it stole my heart. Hey, is that the one off the CB3?
The
Yeah,
Luby cat.
yeah,
The
that's
Luby.
Ruby. Yeah, I showed it off
Ah,
before.
That's
So it's multiple pieces and it's dual extrusion here on the eyes and on
the
the
nose, I
book,
guess.
and I did it on the Craftbot and I sliced it with Simplifier 3D. At the moment, I'm doing
Good.
some tests with Cura, but I'm still having some issues with the dual extrusion. I love to do those kind of tests because I like to tinker, but I still haven't found a solution. I'm having some nozzle clogs on the second nozzle, and I don't know how to solve it. But I'm gonna get over
Haas
it.
is asking if there's if you printed with the 1.75. I think so, right?
Yeah.
For me, on the Pro 2, yes. Pro 2 takes 1.75 millimeter.
I think they only take 1%. There's no 3 millimeter version at all.
The Kat, I'm really happy that you've got a working CB3 because I know it's had its first batch was a bit suspect, but they've worked very very hard to get it, and
Yeah, I got
they're
it
continuing
exchanged.
to give out.
Yeah, I got it
they're getting.
exchanged.
They're working very hard to get those machines up to spec. From what I'm hearing, the new hot ends with the high output nozzles will be a huge improvement, upgrade more than an improvement.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get my hands on them. With the new one, I'm really happy. I'm extremely happy to say. I'm trying to print with it both on Craftware and on Simplify 3D, trying to get Cura now dialed in, and it's really printing really
That's good.
nice. It's such a solid machine, and I'm really loving it.
We've got a good community too, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Good.
On Facebook, yeah.
Not only on Facebook. Come on, I met you with Twitter. We have an awesome community.
Oh, for the craft bots.
Oh,
Yeah,
for the
we're
craft
talking
bots.
about the craft bot,
I don't
yeah.
have one.
Yeah, you'll see it tomorrow. Don't worry.
Yeah?
There's actually 2 craft bots on show.
Really?
Because 3D Verkstan have got one on there.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna draw over one.
Oh, cool. I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't have it at Murph. I didn't see any of them.
I didn't see any craft bots.
Yeah, because
No.
Matter Hackers sell them.
Yeah, I thought that they would have one on display there, but they didn't, because they're the reseller over there.
Yeah, but Meta Hackers is more of an Ultimaker reseller, right? And their own Pulse.
Yeah, they had the Pulse available because
They are selling Creality as well, and a lot of other things.
Yeah, they were mostly displaying filaments on the Pulse. That's their main.
Yeah, it's their own machine, so it's understandable they are promoting that more.
There is an actual Craft Unique office out there, so a lot of the sales, the business to business sales, happen through there. I remember that they sent something like in excess of 20 units to one of the universities in Texas. I can't remember which one, but then the one across the road also bought them the equivalent number. So
Haas, filament and gold. Gold happens.
Paul,
gold touch.
could you put the camera a little bit backwards because we cannot see George at all?
Let me try.
There's not really much room to be.
It's not like we're small people.
Oh, that is.
Are you
good.
calling me
That is good.
fat?
No,
And maybe a little bit higher.
No,
a
you're
bit-
just calling me
a bit
fat.
higher. Okay.
You're the one with the stroopwafels.
Yeah.
It's only 20 kilos. Come on.
Is that better?
Yeah, and now you have to turn it more to your side because now you're out of spec. You
Now we
cannot
have
see you.
extra guests,
There's enough
which aren't
space.
invited to the show.
There's enough space to just swap it a little bit over.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, now we got you.
Yeah, that's great. You have to lean a bit forward.
this is
Oh,
an interesting one. He says, "I want a rail core with a zesty nimble, mosquito hot end, and ruby nozzle and MMU."
Oh my God,
M2.
That's a really nice list of things to have.
So, how
It's funny
much
because-
money do you have?
It's actually, you know what?
Filament.
I see. Hey, Tom.
Hey,
Yeah, hi,
Tom.
Tom.
The rail core is actually not that expensive considering what it can do.
Yeah,
parts it has.
absolutely true.
So it's like what, $1,600?
Yeah.
And I've seen the machine at Murph. It's one of those printers that I will buy.
Yeah.
I have to have a rail core.
Hey Joe, I thought
Hi,
you took
Tom.
it with
Hey,
you.
Tom.
I thought didn't you take it with you? From
No.
Murph?
Like in his carry-on.
So there are two things now that I want in life, and that is a rail core and a tool changer. I
Okay.
might kidnap the tool changer.
I might have missed something. I think you had one this afternoon.
Yeah, he
I
was,
had one.
he-
I lost it.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw the tweet. You had just had your face next to their box.
yeah.
It was there before E3D came, so I thought I'd get up close and personal.
So you had it hostage.
And you don't want an SL1?
So Haas was asking about gold filament. I'll point you towards. I've recently gotten a batch of chroma filament. It's the brand of mvong.com, right? I've got a one which I call it polished gold. That might be of interest. So if you look in the satin colors, you might find it through there. I'm not going to post a link because I'm on my phone and stuff. So do a search for chroma MVOng and you'll find the whole range there.
Also, as to an SL1, yeah, of course, I want an SL1. I want every printer that's available.
Yeah, the SL1 I would also love to put my hands on, but yeah.
What I like about the SL1 is I've seen it work, and I'm trying to figure out the mechanics behind it because, like, the level detection of the resin, I think it's by force. When the build plate goes down into the resin, it instantly detects how much resin there is as soon as it touches the resin. So I don't know if it's by force feedback of.
Well, the Trinamics have that, don't they?
Yeah, so
if it's
that's
using-
probably how
Yeah.
they know exactly how much resin there is.
That's interesting.
That is awesome.
I
It's
will
still
be back
cheaper
in
than
a
the
moment.
Formlabs 3, but the Formlabs 3 has come up with some very interesting stuff. Huh? You seen that?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't actually look into the formulas yet.
Oh man,
like-
those things are freaking expensive.
Yeah. But they are for a complete different kind of people.
Exactly.
Or more
They're
for
not for
companies.
makers.
Yeah.
They're not for makers. They're for labs, for big companies.
It's the same as the Ultimaker, basically.
Yeah. Ultimaker definitely steps away from the maker space.
Yeah.
completely.
They already did with the Ultimaker 3 and now even were with T5.
Yeah, I
Still
pasted the
better
link
make
to
them.
your Chroma PLA.
Oh, Martin, you're a star. Thank you so much.
You're there for Gillette.
Yeah. Yeah, railcore
Yeah,
is something that I would really like to build and have fun with. I think it's a great project to do.
I'm a bit biased towards the Bontex, obviously, because I'm very good friends with Martin from Bontech, and they've grown meteorically since 2014. We were just discussing this over dinner, and within the 4 years, 4.5 years that he's been operating, he's gone from a single person in his garage to 11 people. Some of them, some very very high flyers, actually, in the 3D printing world. So yeah, it's horses for courses, really. But the Disney Nimble has got some very interesting engineering.
Actually, when I was at Murph, Bonta gave me the Mark III extruder. Which I
Oh,
installed.
sweet.
So I'll be putting it on my first ever Mark II, which is now a Mark 2.5S.
Okay.
That printer has gone from a Mark II to a Mark IIS to a Mark IIS with MMU1 to a Mark 2.5 to a Mark 2.5S.
You are going to do that during a live stream.
Yes.
Awesome.
Because Ben got his Hulk 3D. He got
so
his. I was going to try and get it out to him for his live stream the other day, but we sent it out a bit too late for it to be there the next day.
Yeah,
the rail core tool changer. Actually, Tom, funny you should mention that because the rail core is already preset to accept the tool changer dynamics on it.
And,
Well, it works with the duet. So
Yes, exactly. Even the engineering on
and,
it.
and,
it's
and one
made
of
for it.
the beta testers is actually from the tool changer, is one of the developers from the Railcore.
Yeah, they were saying that it's like tool changer ready. Yeah, but I have the Bontech gear on my Prusa MK3 printer, and it's been working quite well. I got mine at Murph as well.
So what are the plus sides of that Bontech extruder?
Well, the main
It's
one
cool.
is well, okay.
Okay.
Come on, man. The reason you would buy it is if you really wanted to push the filament without it grinding.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's no accident that people like Prussia are buying, the gears in
Bonta gears.
thousands.
So a while back, about a year and a half ago, Dustin from Jetman, he had done a video on the Bontech on the Ultimaker 2. And the video starts with him having the printer just sitting on the table, feeding filament in, and then he just holds the filament, and you can see the printer just moving sideways. Like that is the strength of a Bontech extruder. Like it will literally pull the whole printer, and that's like what, a 10 kilo, 12 kilo printer, just slowly moving.
That's crazy.
It's just hilarious.
The way that we started the conversations at our first ever TCT. So TCT is the UK exhibition for the 3D printing world, if you don't know it. And it was the first year that we were operating in the 3D printing world. We had a BCN 3D Sigma that we just designed the kits for Bontech, and we had that on display. And my brother had written a little code and cobbled together a demo just to show, the strength of the Bontech QR. So what we had was a coil of filament that we would throw to passers-by and tell them pull. And nine times out of 10, the failure was either that the code that we were running had ended, so you could back drive the gears, or the filament broke. There was no grinding. It was amazing.
Wow. Okay.
So, Tony asked what we do with the tool changer, and today I realized I threw a video on Twitter, and the amount of possibilities that you can do with that machine is just insane. So currently it's set up to have like a tool head that 3D prints, and then you have a microscope that goes and checks the print itself under like this electronic microscope, which is hooked up to a Pi and a screen. So think of it like 10 steps ahead of that. Imagine being able to input a 2D version of the G code, well, slice by slice or layer by layer. After it prints a layer, then the microscope would check the layer to make sure that everything's fine. Then you keep on printing. sort of like double checking that a print does not fail. But it doesn't stop there. Like, for example, if I get a tool changer, or better yet, when I get a tool changer, I will have a 3D printing nozzle on one, possibly a CNC on the other, and a laser, maybe even an airbrush on the end one. So imagine 3D printing something, then laser etching something on it, polishing it with a Dremel, and finally putting a clear coat of varnish, like all in one, just with the same machine. That's the kind of potential you can do with it. It's a tool changer. It's not a 3D printer.
Yeah, I would love to combine the 3D printing with the CNC milling to give you the optimal finish, on the surface. That you could speed up the 3D printing part and then just finish it up on the outside with a CNC.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to printing CNC, so I won't get into that conversation. But yeah, no, actually, what Joe has been saying about the measuring of each of the layers. I was having a conversation with the guys from 3D Verkstan because they sell Mark Forges, and the Mark Forge actually has a laser measuring device. So it puts down the first layer, and with that, it measures the deviations, and because it knows where it needs to be, it's then able to compensate internally. So Eric was telling me it's the only printer that he will send a print from home to the office and knows that he doesn't have to worry about it. But then, I mean, it's like tens of thousands of whatevers. Yeah.
So Haas just asked, but can it open a bottle? Funnily enough, you could possibly have one tool head which opens the bottle, second tool head which grabs the bottle and then pours it on different glasses. And then you have another tool head which moves the glasses out of the way. So theoretically, the possibilities are endless. It's literally like having 4 small robots in one machine.
This is so nice actually. Everybody sat on the couch like this, and we're all together.
Exactly.
As opposed to everybody in their little cabins. We should do it more often.
We should do this more often.
It's a sit-in, isn't it?
Yeah. But I also like is Marteinn doing complete different things.
Don't touch yourself, Martin.
Yeah, I'm just listening in now because you're taking over.
He's fiddling around. He has reprinted his hand, haven't you? Show it, yeah. It's a creepy hand. Show the model. Show off the model, Martin.
Yeah, I'm doing Luke Skywalker. This model here.
Nice.
Doing the hand because the previous print was not in a very good print orientation, so the fingers broke off. So I'm doing that again. I'm doing a lot of Star Wars.
Tell me there was only the middle finger left.
Actually, the two of the middle fingers were left. It was almost there.
So he was British then.
Yeah. I'm doing a lot of those Star Wars models.
Nice.
And spending quite a lot of time printing out and sanding and preparing and painting and doing weathering and all that. So it's a good hobby. And now I'm doing Luke from the Last Jedi movie, where he's old and grumpy. So it's you can see here on top there are X-wing and Darth Vader and several others.
show the X-wing again, because it's just.
And it's a really nice model.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
Yeah, switch over to this camera.
Yeah, I'm not totally jealous at all right here. Come on.
That is so massive. That is so massive.
Yeah, it's over 1/2 meter wide, so it's quite big.
Jeez.
Yeah, you even colored the guy.
The guy inside,
pilot,
the pilot, and it's crazy model. It's over 45 parts printed out.
Is this a Thingiverse model, or did you buy that one, Martin?
Yeah, I bought it on Gambody. That's the website.
Yeah, it's freaking expensive, but it's okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it's high quality, and I'm really enjoying doing those prints. And there's so much detail in the models, and when you spend the time of sanding and preparing the. It's not like it's 3D printed anymore. It's totally
Yeah, you don't see anything like it's 3D printed.
yeah. It's
So, Tom Jackson, why aren't you here?
That's a really good question.
yeah, yeah. The multi-material subject was meant to be for him.
Well,
It's more
3D Meetup Sweden was supposed to be for him.
exactly.
yeah.
Hey, Tom, are you jealous because I'm sitting here next to Joe?
Yeah, our knees are touching. Oh, she got excited.
Hey, you guys need a beer. You need something to drink. You're totally
Yeah, no,
dry.
I need a bed.
Yeah.
A bed?
I need a bed.
No
Tomorrow is going to be a
way.
very long day.
I think I need some sleep as well very soon.
Hey, you guys, you are like 10 years younger than I am. You should be able to stay up way longer.
Let's not talk about age, weight. Those are topics which should not be discussed.
Not during this stream.
That's very true. I mean, the price versus time. The comment down there.
Yeah.
Very true.
The what? Bottle
No,
opener.
there's a comment about the price that you pay for the model versus
Yeah.
the time.
Oh,
That's gone
yeah,
into
yeah.
it. It's,
I think people forget that in some cases.
oh, it's always the case. I mean, everybody wants it for free. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
jealousy says me not.
Yeah, the thing is, you can go into a store and you can buy those models pre-made from a factory and have them in a plastic box sitting on your shelf, and it's not.
It's more expensive, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's-
model like that would be.
Yeah, that's quite more expensive than buying the model and 3D printing. And I enjoy the process of painting it and preparing the model, so it's good fun. So it's, something I can show off like myself here is like a show piece of those models, and when people come over and they are like stunned of where did I buy those models is the first question normally, and then I say no, I printed them out and painted them, and they don't believe me very easily. So I have to show them work in process parts. I normally have some parts printed and some painted, and like when I have to dry the paint for one day or two, I have something on as well as printing. So.
Yeah, some of the people here multiplied.
Yeah.
I count as 1.5. So.
How much do I count in?
I forgot. We don't talk about weight,
You've
sizes,
got-
and age.
You've got your own unit. You're one
Yeah.
pole.
Yeah, Matt is
All right,
back
so-
again. I think he's jelly to see you all sitting there next to each other.
Yeah. Well, he can go and join us next year here.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be jealous anymore for me. I'm about to head off to my room. I need to go have a shower. I need to get the stink off my body because the amount of sweat that came down putting that rib box together.
poor, when it starts shining on his head. I mean, he's,
exactly.
And it's pretty warm here
Okay,
at
okay.
the lobby as
I
well.
mean, literally.
Let's take a break now. Let's go and have a cigarette. let's get some water. Let's all break something because
Yeah.
we need the show tomorrow. So Palko here will finish it off for us tomorrow.
Yes, exactly.
And
Hey. George, did you read that?
what did he say? Also, George, I don't join.
Title of second best looking dude on the stream after Joe.
Oh.
That's love.
Aw.
That's love. No, it's mainly that you didn't make it out to Sweden. I mean, that's would have been awesome. Maybe.
Yeah,
But
it would have been awesome.
all
Yeah,
of you,
so-
of course. I mean,
Yeah, so next year we definitely have to be there all together, don't we?
Absolutely.
if there's so much interest as we've seen now, I mean, just chatting, seeing the amount of tweets that have gone around and the people that are coming,
Yeah.
it could get really big.
Yeah. Well, it was already pretty big last year, and
year,
I think it's
yeah.
getting bigger this year. So if it's going to grow like this, it's getting really big.
And for Sweden, I mean, it's
Yeah,
very easy to get.
I don't think it's just Sweden. It's from whole
No,
of Europe. It's
but
really
that's the thing,
reachable.
It's quite easy
Yeah.
to get to Copenhagen. Obviously, it's a
Yeah.
sort of hub.
Yeah.
So it's. I guess the venue is pretty cheap because it's not like mainland or a big city in
Yeah.
Stockholm, for instance, which would be.
Mm.
Right.
So we better pre-book the hotel rooms. Early enough.
I'm going to bid good night to absolutely everyone. Thank you for having me on the show.
I think we are going to.
Thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
Hugs from
Hugs,
Liechtenstein.
hugs. This is,
Yeah.
Have a nice time tomorrow, and
Thank you
post
very much.
lots of pictures and films and stuff.
I need to clean up some stuff here. Otherwise,
it's like a mobile studio in the lobby.
Yeah, it's quite exciting. I saw the picture you posted. It was like with a sound mixer and everything.
Just wires and lights pointing at us.
It's actually quite effective. So I retract my previous comment of saying, you're overdoing it. This is quite effective.
Actually, we could have done with some more.
yeah.
Well,
There is more stuff in there if it was needed. So I actually had a second camera with me.
Oh, wow, okay.
Close up for show. and Daniel hasn't joined us.
Yeah,
I promise.
They're having their beer.
Yeah,
That's they're talking business, guys. So I think
it's really important.
It's forgiven.
All right, so I'm gonna have my stroopwafels.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna bid you all a very good night.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Well,
If they are gone tomorrow, I still have some.
All right, okay. They won't.
Just a few.
They won't be.
Have a nice evening, everyone.
See you soon.
Okay,
again.
ciao. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
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 Yeah, and thanks, Paul, for setting up the system for guests to join in. It was awesome. Yeah. So, what do you think? I think we're just you and me left.
Yeah, so it was a nice stream. I really enjoyed it. It's really nice that George and Joe they joined in.
Yeah.
And so I wish we could have something like that more often. Where people just join in from abroad.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But what do you think? Should we just end the stream?
Yes.
For now. So if you say your outro or goodbyes,
Okay.
I'll do mine.
Okay. So bye everybody. It was nice to have you on the stream, and it would be really nice if those guys watching from the European area, if they would join in and be part of the stream. Because this is something that is interactive, and we really need more people. There's enough topics to discuss, and I think we will have interesting guests, and it would be nice to discuss it with you guys, not only being in the chat, but being live. Don't be shy. Come on. Yeah. So big hugs and kisses, and see you soon.
And thanks for tuning in. And I'm Marteinn, and I have my channel 3DP Iceland, and do various things. As you might have seen on the stream, these models and my landscapes. And if you have interest in joining the streams, hit me up on Twitter, 3DP Iceland. We have a Twitter group where we organize what we are going to talk about on sets, and it's open to everyone that can have a webcam and a decent internet connection to join in. But next Friday in the US stream, they will have Jimmy DiResta as a guest on the May 4th. That's the next stream. There is Mini Marteinn here in the background. That's my son goofing around. And he's like my clone. Yeah, he's quite funny. So yeah, but for now, I thank you all for watching, and we will see you after 2 weeks here in the US, European streams. But if you can join in the next Friday stream in the US with Jimmy DiResta, that will be probably interesting stream. But yeah, so thanks everybody for joining in, and bye. Take care.
See you. Bye bye.